this is another 10 out of 10. I do not recommend listening to Ford.
Yeah, start with oil changes, oil change intervals. I know you would probably say around 65, 7,000 miles.
I tell everybody 5. Because if I tell them 5, everyone will come back at 7. It's just the natural order of things, I feel like. But main thing is just changing your oil. And a lot of people stretch these diesels a lot longer. And it holds more oil, so that means it'll last longer. I mean, I'm not totally disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, like, just because it holds more oil doesn't exactly mean you can just go longer.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people just don't service their vehicle at all. They run 15, 17,000 miles on oil changes.
You can go a little longer. I'm not saying that you can't. There's ways that you can do that by buying better oil, some full synthetic oil, bypass kits. See a lot of good stuff out of people that run the roads a lot with bypass kits.
Next big thing would be fuel filters.
And this is another 10 out of 10. I do not recommend listening to Ford. I am 1,000% convinced that Ford bases their service intervals for your maintenance off the fact of when they want you to come buy a new vehicle. They tell you on the 6.7 PowerStroke to change your fuel filters every 30,000 miles. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever changed your own fuel filters at 30,000 miles. Even running regular, clean diesel fuel, they are going to be black. They're going to be nasty. I usually tell people about every 15 to 20,000 miles. Usually at 20,000 miles, you can start to see the discoloration of the fuel filter. About every third oil change is kind of how I describe that to most people. Cabin air filters, and that's one of them things that also used to get me real good and riled up at the dealership. It's just like an oil change place. Do you want an air filter, ma'am? No, I don't want a damn air filter. I came here for an oil change. That kind of attitude. And it's the same, a lot of that at the dealer. And I got a lot of that with air filters, or cabin air filters specifically. I got a lot of kickbacks, not necessary to change, and that's just really not the case. Like, I can look at the amount of dirt that's on the dash, and I know that there ain't no way nobody's changed that cabin air filter. Instead of just going and ask them, I just take it out, and I would take it in there to the service writer and be like, hey, go show Miss Wanda her cabin air filter, see if she wants a new one. Like, that's the first thing I do. It don't matter if it's here for service or not. When I pop the hood on a 6.7-liter PowerStroke, they have the checker, the maintenance of your air filter. You don't have to pull it out the box. You can look at it, and it's got a little flow thing on it, and it sucks. When the air filter gets clogged, it'll suck that thing down into the little graph where you can see. I don't look at the gauge. I just reach over there and click the reset button, and if I feel it pop at all, I'm immediately going to check the air filter. If you don't feel it pop at all, the air filter 99 times out of 100 is going to be perfectly fine.
Servicing the transmission.
Yeah, Ford says 150,000 miles on a lot of their newer transmissions, like 10R80, 10R140. I want to say even the 6R140 as well. If you ever look at the fluid at those intervals, the ULV and the 10 speeds looks pretty tough. But I think it'd be more important to go ahead and get it done around probably 75 to 100,000 miles.
My thoughts on it is, so this fluid that we have is essentially just hydraulic fluid, and hydraulic fluid, like in a tractor, a piece of equipment or something like that, is going to degrade a lot based on the main thing being high pressure. So when we pump something up to a very high pressure, we heat it, and heat, over time, heat cold, hot cold, hot cold, hot cold, will degrade the fluid. So I'm not disagreeing that you can't, but we don't really build thousands of PSI in a transmission. We're at a very low 300 PSI is probably about max, 300, 350 or so. The reason the fluid gets dirty and goes bad isn't because the fluid breaks down. It's mainly because all the shit that gets into the fluid, so clutch material, metal, all the other things from your transmission not operating correctly, that gets into the fluid. So that's why, I think it's a pretty good idea to change them around 75 to 100,000 miles. We service them here. We drain and fill just because we don't have a flush machine. It's kind of like this, because it's like, do you want to get all the fluid out? Yes, definitely want to do that. But at the same time, I want to change the filter. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, what do you do? I'm a transmission guy, and what's the first thing we look at when we go to tearing down a transmission? The first thing, we pull the pan off.
Filter in the pan.
We pull the pan off so we can see what the hell.
On the magnet.
Yeah, see what come out of it, Because anything inside that transmission that tears up or goes bad is going to make its way down into the pan.
CDF drum.
Can't see that metal. I'm here for a transmission service. Need to be looking at the diffs. That's probably the most neglected thing we see. I see a lot of them that we pull the covers off of, and I'm like, ooh, how?
You're going to have issues.
Hello there. It's like, yeah, no, man, I hit it with a little brake cleaner, put the cover back on, can't see it now. That's the usual go-to there, because it's like, what you going to do? It's already there now. All I can do is clean it off and put some fresh fluid back on it and see what happens, but dang, these rear diffs have been tough here the last few times we pulled covers on them. And they low mileage, too.
Yeah. There's a bunch of trucks that just tow and tow and tow every day, and nobody ever thinks to even service a diff. And the thing is, Ford's been putting in, they don't put in as heavy of a gear oil anymore as they used to. Like on some of these big Sterling axles, they don't even have 75, 140 anymore.
So how often would you say, if you're towing heavy?
About every 50,000 miles.
Yeah.
50,000.
At least the rear. The front's not near as important because it don't turn, but the rear is definitely a hot ticket item if you're towing heavy. The people that don't tow heavy, number one, you probably don't need a F-250. Just want to throw that out there. Number two, you can go a little further than 50. Think Ford recommends 100,000 on this? Don't get me lying.
I'm not sure.
I think that's the number, but
Ford doesn't do a good job of showing any kind of service intervals anymore.
Kurt says that the same apply for coolants too. Drain the radiator and fill or flush the whole system. We typically just drain them. I mean, I get the whole flushing thing, but the truth of the matter is that most of these vehicles that we're working on now have this newer yellow coolant, and it's working awesome, man.
Yeah,
we're
I've never seen an issue with it.
Yeah, we're not having any problems out of it at all like we did with the older shit. So I'm about, at this point, saying it don't even have to be serviced. I still think it's probably a good idea, but the truth of the matter is you're probably going to have a repair at some point that's going to, require draining the coolant. So I just hate to see people that come in here today and they do a coolant service with me, and then 2 weeks from now they're back and we got to do such and such, and I got to drain the coolant right back out,
The front hub actuator vacuum delete and it's spinning all the time, then I would just change it when you change the rear diff because it's going to spin the same amount.
You might as well wait till the front diff fails, and then you can just rebuild it and change it all at one time.
Power steering fluid and brake fluid.
Power steering fluid almost is non-existent in this day and age. So power steering fluid is one of those things on the older 250s that, I mean, it's really like what I said earlier, Like I do stuff with my eyeballs that if I can take the cap off and look in there and it's nice and pretty and red, I'm probably not going to fool with it.
Yeah.
As it starts to discolor and I don't like the way it looks, then we'll get it out of there. What was the other fluid? What was the other thing?
Brake.
Brake fluid. Oh, brake fluid shit. Yeah, I mean,
I've never even heard of somebody servicing brake fluid.
that's a big thing. It's a big thing. It used to be a really huge thing on older cars because brake fluids were shitty and they just like to
contaminated,
corrode. And brake fluids are real attractant to water. They love to let water come here. Water, get in here with me. And water doesn't do good stuff.
No.
You didn't like that.
I mean, it's another thing that you could just pull the cap off and look at the fluid as well. If it looks really dark, go ahead and change out the whole brake fluid. But
that's typically what I do. I've always been a big proponent of just I change my oil every 5,000 miles, give or take, roughly. So whenever I do an oil change, I fully look over the truck. I check the brakes, I check the transfer case fluid because it's pouring. I'm typically going to check the rest of the fluids. I'm going to look the truck over.
Monitor the oil leaks.
Really, really well. Yeah, monitor the oil leak.